huge. Really just shows how big a scale Aurora thinks on. Alright, let's focus on finding the tunnel entrance. Those structures look colonial. Dome's gotta be close.
What are you looking for here, Lieutenant? These are strange structures. I've never seen anything like this.
Are you looking for something in particular? Because I don't remember receiving an order to snoop around here. Not sure the captain will like it. Anyway, it's just my opinion.
will die if he does not help them. The man must have mercy. They will die if he does not help them. The man must have mercy. They will die if he does not help them.
Here's your way out. I don't know where you're gonna go, but you better get going.
They will never forget the Hammer Man. Never. They thank him.
There's a ton of different chemicals. They must have been using them to make explosives to help out with the drilling. Guess it would work for me too. One charge should be big enough to close the tunnel down. Just gotta be careful. But with the detonator and explosives, I should be able to set it off remotely and make sure I don't blow my damn head off.
You really believe that they'll have left enough to blow up the tunnels here? Wouldn't be very smart of them.
They need chemicals to clear out the access to the tunnels. They have the ingredients necessary to collapse them. Fortunately, it seems that they were doing construction work on this shadow path. I'm sure we'll find them.
If you say so. I didn't know that Technomancers also played the part of saboteurs in the army.
The Technomancer's abilities are extraordinary, and their knowledge too. I'm so lucky to be part of your unit, Lieutenant. I'm sure I'll learn a lot from being with you.
need some materials if I'm gonna collapse this tunnel.
A Technomancer from Abundance. And I heard you were all nearly extinct. What are you doing here? What do you want?
I want to come in, and you're gonna help me.
No, I don't think I am. Stop! I'll help you!
I told you you would. Don't know why you didn't believe me.
Here I come.
The dome's in amazing condition, though I doubt Aurora's been taking care of it. I wonder where the relic the merchants talked about is, or even how they found out about it. Well, looks like we found the relic. Doesn't look like much, but the style of writing looks familiar, even if I don't have a clue what it means. You able to decipher it? What is it? It even real?
We haven't been able to decipher it yet, but yes, no doubt it's real. Not sure if I can tell you anything else about it. I don't know what you're planning to do with it, and I don't want to offend you by talking about sacred matters, but you know some knowledge should only stay among Technomancers, right? So be careful, please.
I know what I'm doing.
What is it? It looks so old. We should show this to the captain. It must be important, judging from how well guarded this place is.
It's an ancient object indeed, but I don't think that the captain will be interested in it.
Oh, this is one of those ancient objects Technomancers collect. I understand.
Perfect. Got everything I need to shut this access point down for good. All set. Just need to get back to the rover before setting it all off. This tunnel's gone. Aurora's got no way into Ophir anymore. Mission accomplished.
The intensity of the vibrations is soothing, hypnotic. They make me so tired.
Dear old Scott. My machine's caressing you with rumbles. Sweet talking you. Can't go falling asleep on a battlefield, though.
Thanks to you, the city won't ever have to face another attack like the last. All those people wounded because of those broken shutters. Just thinking about it, I feel nauseous.
It's probably the rover. Gotta get used to the vibrations. Most people fucking puke their ass out their first time.
No, I meant the thought of all the... Never mind.
I really don't get it. This is war, right? Aurora shows up and blows up part of our city, and how do we retaliate? Send a handful of people like us? I don't get it.
You ever do anything but bitch? Successful mission. Tripping a rover? Hell, if I was you, I'd be grinning ear to ear. Why don't you do that? Bitch less, smile more. Sir, I've got, something to ask you.
What can I do for you?
Well, I don't know if you know, but my dad died when I was young. Actually, he disappeared. He never came back from one of his explorations 15 years ago.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't want your pity, okay? It's not about that. What I mean is, I've never managed to find out what kind of mission he was on and where he had gone. I know he was close to Scott. He was probably even his best friend. That old crazy man doesn't want to tell me anything. He says he wants to protect me. Look, I'll just cut to the point. I was wondering if you'd maybe look in his dispensary for me. See if you could find any of my father's notes, or letters, or...
I don't know, Amelia. Scott's like a father to me. And besides, you know he's almost always there. How would I even do it?
I'm not asking you to break in or steal nothing. Just keep him busy. And while you are there, you know, just flip through files. I'm sure he kept letters between him and my dad. He's not one to throw anything away.
All right. I'll try to make him leave, but if I don't find anything...
Yeah, I won't blame you. But I know that you're going to find something.
Hello, Scott. My captain told me that she wanted to see you.
Is it related to you? Are you sick?
No. Not that I know of. She didn't tell me why.
Oh, well, should I take my pouch then? It's an important question. I should still take it though, but it's a little heavy. All right, I'm leaving without it.
I think I have a problem with going through your friend's things. I hope whatever you're looking for, it's worth it.
I'm trying to find information about the past. It's personal, okay?
Forget it. You couldn't understand. The officers, they aren't like us. They're above all that.
Hello, Mancer.
Hello? I found some of your father's letters.
I knew it. Tell me.
Most of the correspondence was friendly. They were very close. However, there was some tension between them over time. Some letters gloss over an expedition that they had done together, but what surprised me the most is when your father talks about a boy who was actually Scott's son. The last letter I found is a bit bizarre. I didn't really understand what he meant.
What did he mean? Do you remember?
Your dad begged Scott to stop the madness, warning that his wife's divorce was only the beginning of what he would lose if he couldn't face the truth. That it was too late for his son. He seemed to think Scott was on the verge of self-destruction.
It's true that it's rather mysterious. Scott, a son. Did you know?
No, he never told me about him. He obviously lost him. No doubt it's still a touchy subject.
We have to find out what this is all about. You have to ask his wife. Did my father really mean to interfere in his family drama? Maybe that's why he disappeared? Please, Zachariah!
I'm sorry to... You Angela Seeker, Scott's wife?
Ex-wife? What did the drunk do this time?
Nothing bad. He's a friend.
A friend? Ah, right.
Just looking for some information on one of his friends. Mark. And your son.
Get out. Get out! What right do you have coming around digging up the past?
I'm not here to make you relive your pain. And I'm sorry if that's what it looks like, but I'm here for Mark's daughter. She sent me to try to figure out what happened to her father.
The poor girl. Hard enough to lose things when you're old enough to understand. She was just a girl when Mark disappeared. If resurrecting my pain can help ease hers. I loved our son. Scott did too. But he was never around. He was too lost in his research, lost in the dream of making the discovery of the century, of becoming a hero in abundance. Then, one day, our son started to show signs of mutation. When Scott noticed them, he lost it. He tried to hide him as he desperately dove back into his research to find a cure. With Scott gone all the time, I turned to Mark for a shoulder to cry on. Told him what was going on. So Mark tried to reason with Scott. But you could never reason with him. He always thought he knew more. Then our son was arrested and Scott and Mark just took off on some crazy expedition. Left me alone to deal with it all. So I filed for divorce. I was alone anyway. Then they came back with nothing to show for all the damn time they were gone. But that didn't stop Scott. No, he just dove deeper into his work. And when Mark disappeared, I was sure it was because of another one of Scott's crazy missions. So tell Amelia, it was Scott's incessant need to be right, to be a hero, that undoubtedly cost her father his life, and that's it. That's all I know.
Hell, I can feel for what the old man's been through. I've known some folks myself who went through the same thing. Terrible thing. Breaks couples up, you know. Stress of never being able to have kids again.
Why never again?
Because they sterilize families who've had a mutant to make sure they don't have no more.
It's sad, but it's the only way to protect our own kind. At least now I understand why the professor's so, you know, weird.
Hello, Mancer.
Hello? I talked to Scott's ex-wife.
So, what did she say?
It's an awful story. Her son. Anyway, their son was struck by mutation. They took him away from them, of course, but it made Scott go crazy, and he was convinced that he could find a remedy. He asked for your father's help, so they left together, and were gone for a long time. Their exploration apparently didn't lead to anything concrete for the boy, and Scott descended into madness. And then one day, Mark left. His ex thinks that it was to bring back something useful for his research, and he never came back.
Shit. So my father's disappearance is related to that poor kid? It's really awful what they must have gone through. That explains a lot about why he's so crazy, and also why he behaves as if we were his kids. Thank you, Zach. That doesn't answer all my questions, far from it, but I have a better grasp of what happened. My father disappeared by helping his best friend, who was going through a rough patch and wanted to heal his child. It's a sad but beautiful story, isn't it? I'm gonna think about all this. Thank you again.
You're not like other girls, are you?
Is that supposed to be a compliment? Or are you being a wise ass?
You just don't talk like the rest.
I drive a Rover. I don't sit around sipping brightly colored drinks with brainiacs talking about the philosophies of life. You don't like the way I talk? Take a number and shove it up your educated ass. Take any one of them uppity shits and put them in a rover, driving through sandstorms and seeing crazy shit every fucking day, and tell me they won't start talking a little more colorfully.
Easy, killer. I'm not judging you. Doesn't bother me. I was just saying.
You were a fucking rogue before, so unless the army made you soft and... Sorry. Just a little defensive. Hear that shit a lot. Hello, Mancer.
Hello? You must have traveled a lot. Could you tell me more about what you discovered?
You know, when I'm being sent out to explore, it's for prospecting. I drive around, take samples, map out the area, that kind of thing. I discovered 2 mines last year. We'll put them into service once we connect them with the shadow paths. Wow, it doesn't sound as exciting now that I think about it. But I don't care. Despite all of this, I can go almost anywhere. I see landscapes that others will never see, and sometimes I stumble across amazing places. I'm not doomed to remain under a shell of metal.